The advice and opinions expressed by the host of Autism Live and her guests are meant solely as suggestion and should not be in any way construed as child-specific advice. The Center for Autism and Related Disorders advises working with a board-certified behavior analyst who has experience with autism before starting any intensive behavioral intervention. Any choices you make in determining your child's treatment are completely at your own discretion.
Good morning and welcome to Autism Live. I'm Shannon Penrod and we're webcasting to you live from the Warner Center in Woodland Hills, California. Thrilled to be here with you on this lovely Thursday morning. We've got quite a lineup for you today, so I'm really excited. I'm only here with you for the first hour because in the second hour, we're debuting a new episode of The Future is Bright, and the host of that hour is Stephanie Schaefer. She's an amazing young woman. You may remember Stephanie if you haven't watched The Future is Right before. She was the winner of the last apprentice that was not a celebrity apprentice. Remember when there used to be apprentice and it was just, people who were not celebrities. And Stephanie is a lawyer and she was the winner. It was the episode where they weren't even put up in hotels, where they had to camp in tents and like the really serious one, and Stephanie won that. So that speaks loudly as to what kind of a force she is. And that show is done in conjunction with the Autism Society of America. And Stephanie's guest today, she's got some fabulous guests. Jason Cherry, who has been on our show before, is with Stephanie. He is a young man who is a race car driver, and he is the sibling of another young man who is on the autism spectrum. And so Jason's always interested in helping the autism community, but has a particular affinity for the siblings. And sometimes it's hard for a family when you're having to pay for so many treatments to be able to do things for the sibling, and especially when it comes time to go to college, sometimes there's a shortage of funds for the sibling, and none of us can live with that, right? So Jason's got a new program that he's involved in that's giving away tens of thousands of dollars to siblings to be able to do the college experience and do it correctly. So you're not going to want to miss that interview because it gives you information about where to find out and apply for those scholarships. And then a little bit later on in the hour, she has Michael Lever and Rose Yoakum from the Autism Society of America. They've got a new program called the Autism Friendly Program. And what it does is they have a criteria that businesses can apply to get a stamp saying that they are an autism friendly business. And then you and I can look up and find out information about those businesses so that we can make sure that we are patronizing them, because first of all, we want to be rewarding businesses for being autism friendly, but we also know that we're going to get a certain kind of experience when we go there, right? So really love that they're doing this, and you can find out more information about that during Stephanie's show. It's really, really exciting. But in our first hour here, we got a lot of stuff that we're going to be doing and some fabulous guests for you as well, which I'm really excited to be here with you for the next 1 hour, and then the next hour. So we're really 2 hours, but I'm only here for 1 hour. Now, I always like to remind you that the whole show, regardless of whether I'm chairing the desk here, or it's Matt Asner, or it's Stephanie Schaefer, or it's any one of our other sister shows that are now here on the Autism Live network, the whole point is to be interactive. We want for you to be a part of the conversation. We want to hear from you. We want to know what you're thinking and what your questions are, because we're here to be a resource for you. Without you, there's no us, right? So Calby's going to show you some of the different ways that you can be a part of the show and participate and have your voice heard. Also ways that you can be watching the show, because we try to be on as many screen possibilities as possible, but our criteria is that the content needs to come to you free. So Kelby's going to show you some of those ways. Remember that our homepage is autism-live.com. You can always check us out there. And when you're there, you can be watching a live show, a recently recorded live show. In fact, you can watch the 100 most recently recorded live shows, and you can interact with us on the live feature. There is a box there next to the computer screen. If you put your cursor in the one that says your questions, you can write into us and we can have a conversation back and forth. Now, I will tell you though, there's a lot to be had on that page, but I also want to encourage you to participate on our YouTube page, because on our YouTube page, it has everything that we have ever filmed. And some of them, we didn't do so good. Others, it's stellar, right? So if you want to go to the YouTube page and you want to search a topic, you can put in the search feature on our channel and go through and find a topic. We also have different playlists so that you can take a look. We have a playlist that's all about our different videos that we've done with Temple Grandin. We have a playlist that's for all of our episodes, all of our episodes of The Future is Bright. We have a playlist that's for all the Smarty videos, all of the On the Spectrums with Matt Asner. We have ones that are just about cooking and recipes. So check out the playlist, and make sure you follow us on YouTube, because then it'll update and let you know when we've got new videos, because we're always putting out new videos. All right, I do like to remind you at the start of the show that we have lots of experts that are on the show, but I, unfortunately, am not one of them. I'm a parent, I'm a former teacher, and I'm somebody who has a great deal of passion for this subject and for all of us who are in this community. And I mean all of us: parents, teachers, practitioners, and of course, individuals who are on the spectrum themselves. We want to welcome you here. You have a voice here. I've let go of, in my elder age here, I've let go of the idea that we're always going to agree on everything, right? That's just not a possibility, but we all get a voice here. And I stand by that. So you may disagree with something that I say on the show, and that's okay. Come, be on the show. Put your voice out. We're a community, we're a family, and everybody doesn't have to agree with everyone else, but we are still family. And so I like the idea that within the family we disagree, but that, when you're in a family and a strong family, when you go out into the world, you present a unified front on some things, right? That's the autism family that I want to be a part of. We can disagree when we're home, and this is home for us. We can be home, and but when we go out into the world, let's decide on what things we do agree on and put that face forward, right? Very aware of that this year, an election year here in the United States, that we need to get our a front up where we say to the world, hey, here's the autism community, and here are the 18 things that we think are important, okay? But in any case, I hope that you will excuse me from being an expert. Take advantage of what the experts have to bring here, but I'll be the person who I'll be a cheerleader for you and everyone else here in the community, and I want to be the person who helps to figure out what resource we can hook you up with that helps you, that is individual to you. Okay? So, having said that, we like to start every show with something we fondly refer to as the jargon of the day. This is when we take on one word, one phrase, one acronym. We try to figure out, what does it actually mean? Because a lot of times we look these terms up and the definition is just inaccessible to anyone without 37 letters after their name, right? So we give you the actual definition, which we then poke fun of, and then we give you a working definition, and we try to put it in a context so that we can start to begin to understand what exactly it is that we're talking about, and more importantly, why we're talking about it. How does this benefit me? Why should I even bother knowing what this is? All right? So today's jargon term, it's one that we've used before. It's errorless learning. It's hard to say, errorless. But this is a really important thing for all of us to know and embrace and get excited about. So let's take a look at what our actual definition is. Errorless learning, an instructional design introduced by psychologist B.F. Skinner in the 1930s as part of his studies on what would make the most effective learning environment. Skinner said, errors are not necessary for learning to occur. Okay, great. This is a great definition. I understand all the words in it, but I don't know what exactly it is that I'm looking at. I go, oh, okay, this is why, but I don't know how to do it. I don't know what it is. So let's move on to our working definition. Our working definition is errorless learning, a teaching procedure that are teaching procedures, that are specifically designed so that the learner does not have to and does not make mistakes as they learn new information. Okay, so here's the important thing to know. Errorless learning is just one of the many steps that get us to the point where somebody learns something. I think sometimes where we get confused or we get emotional when we see errorless learning happening is we go, well, that's ridiculous because, they're not really learning anything, right? And the way I look at errorless learning is it's a great platform on which we set up the circumstance, which is, we talked about the ABC the other day. There's an antecedent, something happens, there's a behavior, and there's a consequence, right? And when we want to teach something, we want to signal to the person who's learning, we're having a teaching moment now, and it's going to go like this. And so in the world of ABA, they present an SD, which is something, it becomes the antecedent, right? And it signals to the person, we want you to behave this way. And when you do, something positive is going to happen. And this is the key to it. Setting up a circumstance where somebody goes, oh, you mean if I do this, good things happen for me? Oh, well then I want to stand in that line. I was just saying to Kelby that last night we got an opportunity to go to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter here in Los Angeles, which isn't open yet, but they were having a special event last night. We got to go to it. And it was really fascinating because nobody knows the park yet. Nobody knows where to go, what to do. So people were doing different things and they were going someplace doing this. And in the first hour, there was a lot of people just enjoying the ambiance. And then as people started to discover some of the cool things, you could see what was happening because people would get in line because there was something that was going to happen at the end of the line. There were a bunch of us that didn't know what happened at the end of the line, but we got in the line because we saw other people were lining up for it. So there had to be some sort of a payoff, right? Errorless learning is sort of like saying, oh, okay, there's going to be something worthwhile at the end of the line, okay? So we set up this circumstance, and so maybe I'm teaching a child something, and I say to them, touch the glasses. And all that's on the table, there's nothing else on the table. All that there is are glasses. This is errorless learning. And by the way, you can still make a mistake, right? Because you could choose not to touch it. Well, with errorless learning, we use prompting like we do with everything else. So if I said touch glasses and the child doesn't do it, I'm going to gently take their hand, lead it over to the glasses and go, good job. That was so great. And maybe, if the child likes tickles, I give them a little tickle and I go, good job. And the reward could be the tickles. It could be something else. It could be that I have a little toy that they get to play with. It could be that they get to watch a second of a video, right? They get some reward that's meaningful to them. But I haven't given them any way to fail. And the reason for that is because I'm laying the groundwork. I'm going to say this, touch glasses, you're going to do this, and good things are going to happen. So eventually, when it's 100% clear, and probably that's going to take between 3 and 10 times that the child does it without me prompting them, that I say touch glasses and they do this, yay, right? Do they know yet that these are glasses? No, they don't. And is that okay? Yep, because this is step 1. And then there's a bunch more steps after this that are going to make it abundantly clear that these are glasses. And by the way, we can do this with almost anything. If you just get creative in your head and go, okay, I'm trying to learn how to knit. Am I automatically going to get an essay test on knitting before I've had a chance to experience and do it? No, right? Somebody teaches you how to knit, they set up a circumstance in which first they're going to teach you how to cast on, and they're going to show it to you, and then they're going to have you do it, and they're going to help you so that you don't fail. Best teachers, right, don't just go, okay, I did it, now you do it, right? Because that doesn't work for everybody. Best teacher is going to go over and do it hand over hand. Case in point, Wizarding World of Harry Potter last night. There's a thing with all around the park. One of the things that people discovered after they went to the wand shop and they heard the explanation for it, you can buy an interactive wand, and there are places all over the park where there's something sunk into the ground, a little metal plate that shows a shape that you have to make with the wand. And there are words to say as well, if the kids can read, but they have to stand and there's a learning curve to it, right? You have to stand on the spot on a specific place, and you have to point and the place where the arrow is going, and you have to make the shape. And when you get it exactly right, and it has to be exactly right, something happens. You create a spell and magic happens. They have these sensors that are set up. And it took us a while to be able to figure it out. But finally, we had a person come over and they did errorless learning with my son that, because he'd gotten frustrated. He was like, oh, these things don't work, right? But she came over and she set up a circumstance in which he couldn't fail. I don't know whether she tripped the thing and it happened. But then he saw what the reward was and he was like, okay, show me how to do it. Right. And it was that he had to do it he was making these big motions with his wand and he had to do these very small things. And then the thing would happen. And he was willing, after he saw what the reward was, he was willing to try and try and try until he got it. And it got to the point where, and they have these scattered all over the park. It got to the point where he was so good at it, he could go and he could get it right on the first try. But in the beginning, it was, oh my goodness. And he gave up on the first one. He was like, oh, these things don't work. So this is why we do errorless learning. We're showing that, oh, when you get it right, there's going to be a great, great reward. And then because if the reward is enough, then the person is willing to work through some of the frustration when we make it harder. For instance, with touch glasses, we would do the physical prompt, and then we would slowly fade that out so that they would do the touch glasses. And eventually we would put other things out there as well. So I would put, 2 or 3 or 17 things out there and say touch glasses. And if the child went to take the cup, I would just physically prompt them and go, it's glasses. And this is when they began to learn, oh, this means glasses. Got it. Takes a while, but guess what? It works. It works. And it works faster than anything else. And here's the other good part about it. We have happy students who are learning how to learn and learning that learning is a really wonderful thing because it came with a reward each and every time. So errorless learning, stop and think about it. Is there something that you want to learn how to do? Is there a way that you can set up for yourself with help a system which gives you errorless learning, because you'll learn it faster and you'll enjoy it more. And isn't that what we want for all of our students to experience whenever they're in a learning? And that's for every student, whether they are 6 weeks old or they are 106, right? Okay, errorless learning, it's a really good thing. I waxed poetic about it because I love it so much. All right, moving on. We always have a question of the day. I don't know if we're going to get to the question of the day to talk about it, but our question for you is, what frustrates you so much that you don't even want to deal with it? Oh my gosh. Right now, can I make a list? There's so many things right now. And I had a funny little moment. I had to do something technical the other day, and I avoided it for a week and a half. A full on week and a half. I just didn't want to deal with it, until finally I asked somebody, I said, I don't know how to do this. And then they showed me, and it took all of 4 seconds. And it reminded me that sometimes the main thing is to reach out and ask help from somebody. So often, if something takes a bunch of different steps or it's intimidating to us from something in the past, we shy away from it. We don't want to do it because why? There's no reward, right? This is why this is the question today with errorless learning. Think about that from your kids' perspective. There are lots of times that we don't get teaching right. Just accept that that's going to be a part of your reality, that if you're at all a teacher, as a former teacher, we talk about the first time we teach something, we're never going to get it as well as the second or third time that we teach it, right? So accept that as a parent, a teacher, or an individual who's on the spectrum, that it's very rare that you're going to get it right the first time. But when we see that somebody is getting frustrated, can we back it up? Can we simplify it? Can we make it easier and take that frustration out? And errorless learning is a great way to do that. A great way to do that. So, but write in and tell us what frustrates you. Would love, vent. I always love to give you guys an opportunity to vent. We always have a topic of the week, and our topic this week is antecedent modification. And that goes hand in hand with everything that we've been talking about. The antecedent is what happens before. So when, as a teacher, and we're all teachers every moment, right? We really need to think about, well, where are we trying to get to? But we want to set up the perfect circumstance in which to learn. And that means getting things as right as we can. If we had a chance for a third jargon term today, I would have put MOs or EOs, establishing operations and motivating operations, because part of an antecedent we'll see a lot of the time, and I refer to it as what's on board. You notice that our self-help tip of the week this week was sleep. Because so often, if we are underslept and we come to a circumstance, if you're going to teach me something and I haven't had enough sleep, I'm going to be crabby. I'm going to be less likely to get it. I'm going to be more resistant, right? So that's an establishing operation. I came into this circumstance without the best thing on board. So antecedent modifications talk about not only looking at what we've set up, but what's going on in that moment before. How can I make the best possible choice? So if I know that I've got a student who's underslept and prone to frustration, what do I do in the moment before that helps me to be able to get this lesson? Well, the more we use errorless learning, the more it becomes a signal to a learner when they've learned in this way with a 3-term contingency, that if I say, I give them something easy to do, that's a bit of errorless learning, and I get buy-in from the student, and then I can make it harder. We call that behavioral momentum. I can make it harder and harder and harder, so I can get to the place where I'd really like to have the new learning happening. But because I've got a tired learner, I kind of had to walk them into the pool instead of throwing them into the deep end. We started at the shallow end and we made our way along, because if you know you're going to get reinforced, if you know you can't fail, you're more willing, right? And so that's part of an antecedent modification, is making a decision. All right, I'm not going to go hardcore at the beginning of the lesson because some other things are going on here. And we're going to talk more about antecedent modifications as well. But the things that we have on the show, and I kind of gave some of this away before, it is Mindful Thursday, and I can't wait when we come back for a break to talk about this week's tip for that, because it's one that I'm particularly grooving on this week. And then we have 2 guests that are going to be joining us a little bit later on in this hour from Spectrum Success, spectrumsuccess.org. Sneha Mathur, I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, and an intern who works for her, Adam, is going to be with us as well. Adam is on the autism spectrum. They are helping people to be job ready and get jobs. We're going to let them tell you more about that. We have a little bit of autism news that I hope we have a chance to squeeze in. And then, as I mentioned before, in the next hour, The Future is Bright with Stephanie Schaefer and her special guest, Jason Cherry, who's a race car driver who's going to talk to you guys about scholarships for siblings. I just love this. And then Michael Lever and Rose Yoakum are with her as well to talk about a new program, the Autism Friendly program. I think it's a great idea and something that we're all going to utilize. All right, I'm going to be back in just a couple of minutes with today's Mindful Thursday tips, so stick with us. Currently, in the United States, 1 in 88 children is affected by autism. 1 in 88 means something different when your child is the one. Recovery is possible. Hi, I'm Shannon Penrod, host of Autism Live, an online show about autism broadcast by CARD, the Center for Autism and Related Disorders. I'm also the mother of a child with autism. My beautiful son, Jem. You know our old joke? Guess what?
Chicken butt.
Chicken butt. So we're going to take the chickens. But things weren't always so easy. I remember when Jem was first diagnosed with autism. I used to lay awake at night in bed and pray for someone or something that could help us to get our child back.
My prayers were answered by Dr. Doreen Graham-Pichet and the Center for Autism and Related Disorders. CARD treats autism and other related disorders using the principles of ABA, Applied Behavior Analysis, which is the only scientifically proven effective treatment for autism. It is also recommended by the American Academy of Pediatrics and the U.S. Surgeon General. About a year after we started treatment with CARD, we were able to see tremendous improvement, and we got our child back.
What grade are you in?
Second.
You are a smart cookie, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Do you like school?
Yeah.
Do you have any good friends?
Yeah, Oscar.
Oscar is your best friend?
Yeah.
And my child is just one of thousands to benefit from CARD ABA therapy. Across the nation and around the world, children are making amazing progress and being given the keys to unlock their full potential.
Recovery from autism is absolutely a possibility. We've been recovering children for over 20 years. It's just a matter of identifying the child's medical needs, understanding the child's sensory issues, and then teaching the child all of the skills they need in order to function normally.
We know there's hope for autism. Autism is treatable and recovery from autism is possible.
Welcome back. It's time for our Mindful Thursday tip. I happen to love this tip. It's finding beauty in the mundane. We are surrounded by so much stuff right now, and in order to help ourselves to not get overwhelmed and not get over anxious, we tend to filter. And that is a very protective thing that we do for our brains. In fact, we see that kids on the autism spectrum often have difficulty filtering to be able to erase things from their sensory plate. And so that's part of why they shut down. I think what's difficult for those of us who aren't on the autism spectrum, though, is that we get very adept at filtering things out to the point that we stop seeing things for what they are and stop seeing them at all. And one of the things that we can do for mindfulness, it's just a little exercise, something to do for just a minute, is to find something in our universe, particularly if we're feeling stressed, to stop everything. We've talked before about putting our feet flat on the floor, putting our hands flat on some surface or onto our legs, taking a couple of breaths and taking a moment. We can focus on our breath, but I also think that one of the really, it's completely free and easy to do is to find something in our environment that we're so used to having there that we've never taken a look at, and taking a really laser focus moment to look at it. That I can sit here, for instance, there's lots of things in my environment I could choose from and none of them are wrong. But to really see something. So I can sit here and look at the case to this iPad, which I touch every single day, but to notice the grooves that are in it and some of the lint that's stuck in the grooves, and really appreciate the way the light hits it and just focus on it. It's amazing when you stop, and a lot of times people suggest taking something that's absolutely beautiful, like a flower, and having a meditative moment looking into a flower. I don't know about you, but I don't always have a fresh flower laying around, right? Sometimes when I'm feeling the stress, I am as far away from a fresh flower as I could possibly be without being on the moon. You know what I'm saying? So, but the truth of the matter is you can find it in anything. There's a friend of mine recently invited me to a group on Facebook where it's people who are playing with this idea about the beauty in the mundane, and they take pictures of things that are really mundane that, you know, we look at all the time and don't care about, but they're taking a picture of it mindfully. What's funny to me about this is when my son was little, and I honestly think that this is part of the reason why the human race persists, is that when we get to look at things through a child's eye, it's very exciting. It rejuvenates us, right? And so it's so much fun to have a child and see the way they see the world. And even for our kids on the autism spectrum, they have an even more unique perspective. When we used to take Jem for a walk, a lot of times he would just run and it would make me crazy. And I do think now it was that he just enjoyed the feel of wind in his hair, that sensation. He just loved it. So he would run anywhere and it would make me crazy because he would run right out into traffic, right? But sometimes he would stop. He would stop and he would look at something. Now, it might be a little bit of clover that he would look at, and he could sit there and look at it for 45 minutes. But the other thing that he was really, really into, well, there were two things: vacuum cleaners and drain grates. If we were walking down the sidewalk and there was a drain anywhere, he had to stop and look at it. And he looked at it like a scientist taking measurements, right? He just would be fascinated. And I never look at drain grates. It's just not a part of my world. But eventually, when he was 3, one day I had a little Kodak digital camera, and he took it out of my hands, and he went around and he started taking pictures of things. And we put it together in a picture book from the time he was maybe 3.5 till right when he turned 5. We took a bunch of the pictures that he took and put them together into a coffee table book. And my goodness, it's just so awesome to look at this book, because he would take pictures of grates and he would take pictures of his toys in a way that I wasn't seeing them. And you see the beauty in them. So we can do this for ourselves. You can take a picture of something. You can go around, and sometimes, having that filter between like, because who wants to sit and look at their iPad case, right? It might seem a little weird, but when you take a picture of it and then look at it, sometimes it's easier to see the beauty in it. So you can do that. And if you're working on this kind of meditative thing with a person who's on the autism spectrum, that's a great way in which to do it. Give them a camera, let them take a picture of whatever, and then let them see how they look at the picture. It's so fascinating. Sometimes you get really up close to something. I love those puzzles where you can find them online, where they show you a picture of something and you have to say what you think it is, and then they show you it's a really blown up picture of the webbing on a car seat. You know what I mean? But it looks beautiful. And the truth of the matter is that there is so much beauty in the world if we have the ability to stop and notice it. We can't notice all of it at the same time, because that is where that anxiety comes from. But it's bad to go too far to the other way too, where we don't notice anything. When you stop and think about, when was the last, the phrase, when did you last stop and smell the roses? When did you last look at the roses? When did you last look at your hands? And really take a minute to study your hands. So take a moment, take a meditative moment, be mindful about choosing something to look at, really notice it, and slow your breathing down. It doesn't have a greater purpose other than to help you to be centered and help you to reduce that stress. But I think you'll find that when you do it for just a minute on one day, it's so refreshing that you're going to want to do it again. And it doesn't have to get to the point, we don't need to set a limit and go, well, we're going to get to the point where we're like this all day long. You don't have to, that isn't necessary. But just every once in a while, take a minute, notice something. I've had the opportunity in my life to work with some pretty amazing artists that do different things. And over the years, I'm sort of fascinated with what people's process is as they get ready to do something. And I can think of a couple of stand-up comedians in particular who, right before they go on stage, have a really a moment. There's the one guy that I can think of that I can picture him standing in the wings of a theater, and he was just noticing the stitching on the curtain that was there. And I remember saying something to him afterwards, and he was like, oh, I'd just like to find some way to be entirely present, because I could stand there and run through my whole set, but that's not going to help me when I get out there in front of people. So I have to find some small way to get completely present for just a minute. It sets me up for success when I get on stage. I think it's a really great technique for all of us to contact something in our environment, really notice it, center the breath, and then go back to our day later on. So that's our mindful tip for the day. Find some beauty in the mundane today. We're going to take a break, and we're going to be back with more Autism Live after these messages.
Hello, fellow activists. In our last segment, we talked about step number 2, educate yourself. Step number 3 is get support. Now, any journey can feel overwhelming if you feel like you're walking it alone. Well, you're far from alone, because with 1 in 50 kids diagnosed with autism today, there are a lot of us out there. Of course, there's always the issue of financial support. Now, there's a handful of organizations out there that offer financial support to families in need. ACT Today, or Autism Care and Treatment Today, is one of them. Visit our website at www.act-today.org to find out more about our grant process. I want to talk about a different kind of support today, emotional support. Now, you can get that from other travelers on this path. Some of the best advice I've ever received is from the moms of other kids with autism who went to school with Wyatt or were involved with programs with him. Then there are the pioneers. These are the families that have gone through this years ago, and there was very little information out there. All of these people seem to have the desire to pay it forward. Now, one of them, Lisa Ackerman, who is one of my mentors, started an organization called TACA, Talk About Curing Autism. She actually took the concept of mentors and support groups and made it available to everybody. You can go to their website, talkaboutcuringautism.org, to find out more. During the first and most difficult year after Wyatt's diagnosis, I wrote an email to close family and friends, letting them know what was going on and the challenges our family was facing and why we dropped out of sight. I was amazed at the outpouring of love and affection and all the help I received from that email. First, you have to be vulnerable. You can't be afraid to ask. Try this out. Could you cook me a meal? Are you going to the market? Can you pick me up a few things? Could your kids play with my kid and make them feel included? Or can you come over and clean my house? Well, maybe not that last one, except with your best friend. And maybe the best support of all is having someone that listens, and that doesn't cost a dime. So until next time, surround yourself with the loving kindness of others and keep the faith.
What would you do if your child was hurting?
If your family's future was uncertain.
If help seemed out of reach.
Have you been given no hope?
TACA means I am not alone in this.
This is the reality for families affected by autism. And today, the number of children with autism is growing more rapidly than ever. TACA unites these families and ensures that they do not have to fight this battle alone.
Our oldest son, Jared, who has autism, when we first took him to the doctor to get the diagnosis, you know, it's so sad because they offer you nothing. There's no help, there's no hope.
One of the things that you learn with autism is being very grateful for even the small milestones. You know, when you first get the diagnosis, you go through all the range of emotions. You know, this can't be happening. Why is this happening? You have to get to a point where it's the emotion that has to be leading is, what can I do? The first thing that struck me was walking to a room and seeing, oh my gosh, we're not alone. And there is this very strong community that's already set. And something I still today associate with TACA the most is hope. To me, that's what TACA means. TACA means hope.
It's like you've got all these dreams and goals of what your son's going to do, and you get your diagnosis and you're sent home. And that's it. There's no plan of action. There's no, here's autism, here's what we're going to do to make your life better and help him. It's strictly go home and try to process it and go on the internet. It was devastating, and you just, you know, you go through this 3-week of depression and then you snap out of it. You have to. And then you start making phone calls and trying to figure out what is autism and what are we going to do. And then we found TACA, and it was life-changing.
Autism, there really is no definitive answer. It is trying to find the resources that are out there that can assist you to help your child so that, you know, you just don't feel so helpless at those particular moments.
There was direction and there was hope and there was a little ray of sunshine that he's going to be okay and we're going to be okay. I always look back and think we would never be where we are. Carson wouldn't be where he is at without Taka.
So 13 years ago, my son was diagnosed with autism, and that put our whole family into a tailspin. There were so many different ideas and things that were not proven. Nobody knew what guidance to give us. We had no direction. And then we found Taka. They helped give us a path to follow, help give our son a better future and make him healthy and put him back onto the road of recovery. When your son's first diagnosed, the first thing you hope for is, gosh, I just want my son to speak. I just want to be able to communicate with him in some way. Then you want a little more. You want him to go to a regular school. Then you want him to potentially have a real life and go to college. So you're always hoping for the future of your child. My son is a happy, healthy, vibrant young boy that's going to turn 15 really soon. And we couldn't be more pleased, and without Taka, I don't think we'd be in the place that we are today. We believe the future is not defined for many affected by autism. There is hope and direction for these kids and their families. Taka is dedicated to providing community, support, education, and hope to families affected by autism.
At Taka?
At Taka.
At Taka,
We are families with autism helping.
Helping.
Helping families.
helping families with autism.
Hi, my name is Matt. I am 19 years old, and I was diagnosed with autism when I was 6 years old. Autism is one of the fastest growing developmental disabilities in the United States, but I am living proof that with the right treatment, hope is possible. My future is not limited. Today, I am attending Fullerton Community College, and I run for the cross-country team for fun with my friends. It makes me feel proud when I think about my progress. Chances are you know someone affected by autism. Show them they are not alone and help others get on the road to recovery. Contribute to Talk About Curing Autism today.
Welcome back to Autism Live. We're very excited because joining us via Skype, we have two wonderful guests. Sneha Mathur and Adam Paul Valerius are with us. They're from Spectrum Success LLC. So Sneha, I would like for you to start by tell us a little bit about yourself and both of you, name, age, and what you guys do with Spectrum Success. And then, Sneha, if you would tell us a little bit about what Spectrum Success is.
Sure, absolutely. Shannon, first of all, thank you so much for having us on your show. We're really excited to be here. My name is Sneha. I am the co-founder and CEO of Spectrum Success. And
I'm Adam Paul Valerius. I'm 32 years old with Asperger's syndrome. I'm a marketing intern at Spectrum Success.
We are very excited also to have Adam as a part of our team. And before we talk about his experiences in the job market, I'll tell you a little bit about Spectrum Success.
We'd love that.
We are currently in the process of creating an online curriculum to help teach adults with autism employability skills. Now, unfortunately, due to funding challenges, a lot of adults with autism do not get the employability training or transitional services that they really need to transition into the workplace. Over the next 10 years, over 500,000 children with autism will mature into adults with autism, and I'm afraid the system right now is failing them. They don't have enough support that they need. And that's why Spectrum Success has created a way to provide services that are affordable and accessible to thousands of people all over the world. Our videos online will be fun and interactive, and it'll be a great way to learn the skills needed not only to get a job, but also to figure out what the right job is for you, and once you get that job, how to keep that job long term. We put a great focus on assessments to figure out each client's strengths and interests, and we take that and try to find a career fit for them. I think it's very important to find a job that creates meaning in their lives and also with the chance of competitive salary. So that's a little bit about us at Spectrum Success. I think we'd all love to hear more about Adam and his experiences in the job market.
Absolutely. Right before we do that, though, let's tell our viewers that they can find out more information about Spectrum Success by going to your website, which is spectrumsuccess.org, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, great. So Adam, so thrilled to have you here. What made you reach out to Spectrum Success?
I was tired of feeling like I cannot socialize outside the College Community Services Wellness Center, which is an adult mental health recovery day program in the city of Orange, California.
And thank you for bringing that up. Tell us a little bit about your experience at the Wellness Center.
Most of the attendees of the program were born before 1970, and they have some form of bipolar disorder, which causes generational conflicts because of their age, and their condition is so different than mine. So I just really don't get along with them.
Okay, that makes great sense to me. And then so you got that day program, and then outside of that program, who do you hang out with?
As hard as I try to socialize, I often get asked what I do for work or where I work. And before I was part of Spectrum Success, I would have to say I did not work, and the conversation died every time. So that just made me feel like in Orange County, California, you are your job, and without one, no one wants to know you.
And so now you're an intern. You've been offered at Spectrum Success a marketing position. How do you feel now?
I feel much better about my socialization prospects.
And how did you feel when they offered you the job, Adam?
I was excited and smiling.
Wonderful. And I think that that's what happens for anyone, when they have an opportunity to have a job, have a place to go, and have that base for socialization. So what a wonderful thing, and we're thrilled that you're there with Spectrum Success and here with us now. Again, I want to remind our viewers, spectrumsuccess.org to find out more information. We're going to take a short break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about job experience with Adam, and we're going to talk a little bit more with Sneha about how this might be useful to those of you watching. So stick with us. Hi, I'm Shannon Penrod, and we're at the ABCs and XYZs of Special Needs Conference. And this year, for the first time, they've got something really remarkable. It's the Entrepreneurial Boutique. These are all items that have been made and are being sold by individuals who have special needs. So we're going to do a little shopping and talk to some of these fabulous entrepreneurs. Come on.
My name is Molly Rarick, and I'm founder of Breed's Gift. We're a nonprofit that serves teens and adults with special needs, like Chase here. We were founded in 2013 and serve people in the Conejo Valley, Santa Barbara, and LA.
Our main objective is to give our participants the skills they need to gain a more independent life.
My name is Shelley Cox, and Lisa Zalagi and I are founders of Creative Steps and Create Micro Business Enterprises. And the items that we're selling here today are all made by the clients who have passions about what they want to make, and then they get the profits from what they make after we've paid all of the other expenses.
We are here today because my goal is to be independent, and also I would like to share all my artwork, and I would like to sell.
Thinking about at his young age being a businessman, it's amazing. I cannot be more proud.
Welcome back to Autism Live. We've got two wonderful guests with us from Spectrum Success LLC. Their website is spectrumsuccess.org. Sneha Muthur, I hope I'm saying it right. Am I even close? And
That's pretty good.
Okay, and Adam Paul Valerius are with us right now. We were talking, Adam is an intern with Spectrum Success. We've been talking a little bit about his experience and how great it is to have this opportunity. But Sneha, you were saying before that this is Spectrum Success is helping to get individuals on the autism spectrum job ready and to keep a job through videos. So while you are located here in Southern California, this is really something that can benefit anyone in the world, correct?
Absolutely. That's the great thing about it is it's affordable and accessible to thousands of people all over the world. And with the video format, you can take these classes at your own pace from the comfort of your own home. I know that some of the individuals I've spoken to already have part-time jobs or full-time jobs, and they're looking for a new job, but it's difficult for them to come to a training program during the workday. So this can be done in the evening, in the morning, whenever, and from wherever.
Wonderful. And you're in the process, you've made some videos and you're making some more. So if people are interested, they should contact you on your website, correct?
Yes, absolutely. Or they can give us a call at 951-523-7808. If you're interested in videography or animation, we're especially looking for people on the spectrum to help us out. We would like to collaborate with as many people as possible. So if you are interested, definitely give me a call.
Fabulous. Okay, now Adam, I want to go back to talking to you a little bit about, because we see that it isn't just enough, there are different skills that we have to have. We have to be able to get a job, and we also have to be able to keep a job, which is sometimes difficult. Talk to us a little bit about where was your first job and how old were you, Adam?
My first ever job was being a grocery stocker at the Kroger Company's Finneytown store in the suburbs of Cincinnati, Ohio. I was 16 at the time.
And so, as a 16-year-old, what was the biggest difficulty that you had working that job?
My biggest difficulty was communicating with my direct supervisor, who I felt never listened to me attentively.
And so you subsequently left that job. Why did you leave that job?
A situation arose that led to a shouting match, and I got fired, but I have since matured and learned better coping skills, so I would not do that again at a future employer. I would instead tell future employers that if I do something wrong, it helps to have them break the situation down piece by piece so that I can learn how to do it right.
I'd just like to add on to that.
Yes.
Adam has done such an incredible job with his professional development, and he's very insightful on how his condition affects his work. And on that note, though, I do think that it's very important not only to be working with the autism community, but also to be working with employers and business owners who are looking to hire employees on the spectrum. I think it's important to train them on how to bring out the full potential of their employees And Spectrum Success will be offering free trainings and free seminars where we can actually come to your workplace and work with your employees to make sure that it's a good working environment for everyone there.
Absolutely. And thank you for bringing that up. That, I'm thrilled that you're going to have videos that will help, because that's a big part of this component, is that the employers need to know, first of all, they need good training no matter who's coming through the door, but in particular for our individuals who are on the autism spectrum, with just a little bit of training, which will help them to be better with all of their employees, they'll find that individuals who are on the autism spectrum are often far and away the best employees once given a chance. Really remarkable. So Adam, between this unfortunate experience that happened at the Kroger, and I'm so sorry to hear that, but I'm thrilled that you've been able to say, hey, I know more about what I need to do now. Have you worked other jobs since then, before now?
I've worked in some sheltered workshops, but they didn't challenge me enough, and I felt way overqualified. Like Trick Daddy said, I'm way too advanced for this.
Yeah, and Sneha, you probably see this a lot, that when we have those sheltered programs, and for people who are more profoundly affected and have other issues, that works really well. But speak a little bit about what's available for our individuals who are high functioning, intelligent, capable, really have a voice to be able to bring to so many professions. Are the opportunities there for that?
There really are not. It breaks my heart, because it's a catch-22. The skills and abilities of these high-functioning and Asperger's individuals are overshadowing their need for help. Like you said, these individuals are amazing at the work that they do and at the job itself, and any employer would be lucky to have them at their job. It's just a matter of some social and communication skills that sometimes create miscommunications or misunderstandings in the workplace that don't allow them to stay at the job long term. And I think that right now the programs that are available, oftentimes they will have maybe a partnership with different businesses, and when there's an open position, they'll fill that position with the employee, which is a great first step. But if somebody is able to do web programming, for example, why are they being placed in a Subway sandwich shop making sandwiches? Yeah. Of course they're going to get bored. They're not being challenged. They're not. It's not as meaningful to them. They're not excited to wake up and get to work every morning. And so I do think that this is a problem that needs to be addressed. There are going to be thousands of adults with autism transitioning into the workplace environment, and they just don't have the support that they need to make that transition successful.
Absolutely. And now, Adam, you're working now for Spectrum Success, and how do you feel about being there? And tell us a little bit about, because I know you've got a blog with them as well, so tell us about what we do for that, to be able to access that. Are you having...
Yes, that is correct. I do write a blog, mostly about employment experiences, but other topics as recommended by Sneha.
And do we know what the address for the blog is?
It's on the Spectrum Success website. You just look to the top, and it's the very last tab on the right titled Adam's blog. Click on that, and you can see everything I've written.
Okay.
www.spectrumsuccess.org.
Okay, wonderful. And I know that you are somebody who feels very passionately, Adam, about being able to help others, because this has been so helpful to you, correct?
Correct.
Wonderful. Thank you guys so much for being here with us. Unfortunately, we're out of time, but we want to remind people that having a job is one of the biggest gifts that we all deserve to have. So if you're looking for more help and support, spectrumsuccess.org. If you're an animator or someone who can help to work on these videos, they're looking for you. There's a job opportunity for you maybe. So check that out. Thank you both so much for being here. Adam, good luck in this job and all your future jobs. I think you're going to do great.
Thank you for having us, Shannon.
Thank you. Spectrumsuccess.org. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
such a wonderful, uplifting note on which for me to leave the week. I want to remind all of you that in just a few minutes, The Future is Bright starts with Stephanie Schaefer and her special guest, Jason Cherry, race car driver, going to talk to you about scholarships for siblings, and also a new program they're going to talk about with Adam Lever and with Rose Yoakum, talking about autism friendly program, identifying businesses that are autism friendly so that all of us know where we can go to get the best possible service and to encourage those businesses to give that best possible service. So first we're going to go to the A word, and then it's time for The Future is Bright. I'm going to see you guys back here on next Wednesday. No show on Tuesday. We're filming a lot. So we'll be back here on Wednesday with Ask Dr. Doreen and a very special guest who I can't remember who it is right now on Let's Talk Autism, but I remember it was somebody that went, ooh, that's really great. So don't go away. First the A word, then The Future is Bright. Have a great, great weekend. Give your kiddos a hug from me. Take a look at this.
There's Miss Jessica. Hello. Hi. Say hi. What do you see? What is it? What's that? Giraffe. He's getting really good at that. How about that guy? Who's this guy?
We have this one program called NVI, which is non-vocal imitation. So he basically has to imitate whatever we do. So we were working on object manipulation, and then Tuesday I tried doing more gross motor things like clapping hands or standing or jumping, and he was able to imitate all of those. Ready? Do this! Yay! Very good! Okay, here you go. Who's hiding now? Me? Do this! Good job! Okay, here you go. Okay, let's do another one. Okay, ready? Do this! Yay! All right! Here you go, Rockstar. Oh, that's so cool. Alrighty, ready? Do this. Good job! Very good. So that was actually a fine motor action with a touch nose. Oh, yum! How did that happen? You want more? You want more of this? More? Okay. Good asking. We'll do a couple more actions, okay? Do this. Good job. Do this. Good job. Do this. Good try. See here. Can you try? Do this. There you go. All right. Here we go. He's been doing a lot more on his own, even just when I attempt him by just holding the object, not necessarily asking him to imitate more. Cat, that's right. He does do it on his own now, which is really cool. Good asking, buddy. Out. My nut up.
That one's up. Oh, there you go. See? How many up do you want to go?
Touch the block. God, what is it? Good job.
Sorry, I'm just curious. This is cool.
Okay. I'm interested too. Touch shoes. Where's the shoes? That's a good try. Okay. Let's see. Can you touch crab? Where's the crab? Can you touch it with your finger though? Thank you. Did you see that? What is it? Crab. Say crab. That was so funny. I didn't specify, huh? Touch block. Good job. What is it? What is this? Block. This is his receptive labels, so what I just did basically. And our supervisor had written down things that's in his environment that he might not know or that he might know the labels to, or if he's just seen it or heard the label for it. not necessarily know how to say it per se. And I just went through block, guitar, bear, plain, cat with him, and so he actually knows all of them. So I'm actually going to go through his environment just to see other things like shoes. He actually knew almost everything on here except fork, I think. Yeah. So that's actually really impressive. You amaze me every day, kiddo.
We're taking a walk. We just finished dinner, getting ready to go to bed. But part of our after dinner tradition suddenly has been to take a walk. Make sure. Say, come on, Mama. Come on, Mama. Right, Jack? And then we say, stop. Go. Stop. Go. So we're practicing our stops and goes. Stop. Good stopping. Go. Stop. Good stopping, Jack. Stop. Good stopping. Good job, love. Look at me. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Hi, and welcome to The Future is Bright. This month we have some really great guests. We're going to be talking with a professional racer, Jason Cherry. If any of you have ever been to his website, jasoncherry.com or jasoncherryracing.com, you'll find some pretty spectacular information. He started a sibling fund. He's raised money through auctioning his racing helmets. He has an older brother who lives with autism, and he's going to share his views on what it's like to be a non-autistic sibling. And we're going to have some fun today. We also have Michael Lever, Director of Development for the Autism Society of America, and Rose Yoakum, who's Director of Internal Initiatives. They're here to talk about the Autism Friendly program for businesses across the United States. It's not up and running yet, but soon there is going to be a website, I think it's autismsource.org. It has about 40,000 resources across the board for anything you could think of. But within that, and in the Autism Society's general website, you'll be able to click on a link that will give you an autism-friendly checklist, so that if you're a business owner or you know of some businesses who would like to become autism-friendly, they can take the challenge, meet the elements in the checklist, and then get some kind of notification via paperwork or something they can stick in their window to let the community know and let other businesses know that they're autism friendly. So we're going to be talking with all three of these individuals, and we welcome you to our show for this month. We're going to take a quick break and we'll come right back.
Hi everyone, welcome back. For the month of March, we're going to be making a rain stick. And what's really cool about this project is that the steps are pretty simple, so your kids are going to be able to practice a lot of their fine motor skills when making it. Another bonus is that once the rain stick is completed, you guys can use it for a bunch of different programs under cognition and executive functions, things that deals with, seeing versus hearing, or using it also for auditory memory. But we'll get to that later. First, we gotta make the rain stick. So the materials you'll be needing are a paper towel roll, tape, paper, aluminum foil, rice, and any kind of materials you want to use to decorate your rain stick with. All right, let's get to it. So the first thing you wanna do is get a piece of tin foil that's about double the length as your paper towel roll. I got this, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna roll it up, like so, and I'm gonna wrap my paper towel roll with it. okay? And don't worry if it's too messy, okay? This is to give us a basic shape. Now, once I've got this, I'm gonna make it a little bit tighter, and I'm gonna roll it and stick it inside of my paper towel roll. I wanna make sure that it goes all the way through the paper towel roll. And what this does, it acts like a buffer so the rice will go down slowly through the tube. And see how that's in nice and in there? Okay, now that I have that, I'm gonna take a piece of paper and cover one side. And I'm gonna take a piece of tape and secure it over the bottom. All right, now that I've got this on, I'm gonna take my rice and pour it in. All right, now that I got the rice in there, I'm gonna seal the other side. Now that this is constructed, don't forget to use your imagination to decorate this any way that you want. And here's my finished rain stick. Don't forget you can decorate yours however you see fit. I decided to use tape and pipe cleaners, but you could always paint it, add sparkles, just whatever you feel like doing. Now that this is done, let's take a listen to it. What does that sound like to you? I think it sounds like rain too. What does rain look like? Ah, that is what rain looks like. You can ask them a whole bunch of different questions using this after it's already been made. Well, until next time, craft on. Bye guys.
Can you see me? Can you see me flying by your side?
We're here with Jason Cherry, professional race car driver who started a sibling fund, and it's on his website, and he's got some exciting new contests happening. We're lucky enough to have him with us today. So hello, Jason. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. We're super excited to have you. And I'd love for you to tell our viewers a little bit about your background and kind of who you are, what you do, your 30 seconds, if you will.
Absolutely. So as Stephanie had said, my name's Jason Cherry. I'm 19 years old. I live in Annapolis, Maryland. I exclusively partnered up with the Autism Society of America 2 years ago when I began professionally auto racing. I've since then worked with all the local affiliates, the 104 nationwide, to bring children and families out to the racetrack on a given weekend and just support them, show them a good time, and use this motorsports platform to leverage funds and raise funds for the ASA. And as Stephanie's going to get into a little bit later, we're now beginning to kind of shift focus and really, really center in on the sibling support, which is something that's near and dear to my heart.
So, Jason, you grew up or have grown up with an older sibling who lives with autism. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. So I have an older brother, Matthew Cherry. He's 24 years old. We have a 5-year difference. One thing that's really important to understand about that dynamic is having the sibling on the spectrum, the older of the family, really creates a different dynamic than if I was the older sibling. So it impacted my sister and I a little bit more drastically and caused us to mature up a lot faster and kind of, we witnessed things throughout our childhood that shaped us. And looking back on it, it served as blessings in disguise for us, and I can directly attribute all of my success in racing to Matthew.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that. So the crux of our show today, and the reason that we are so fortunate to have you, is that we really wanted to shine a light on what it's like for non-autistic siblings to grow up with siblings living with autism. And it sounds like you have a non-autistic sister and then your older brother, Matt. And we would love...
So my younger sister, Samantha, she's 16. There's 3 years between us. I'm the middle child. And Matthew's 5 years older than myself. So what it was like, being a younger of the siblings, what was happening is there was the dynamic of Matthew going through adolescence and my sister and I being very young children. So, there was tantrums every day. He was self-harming at points in his life, and it was just really kind of a speed bump, a really long, prolonged speed bump that we had to get over of him getting through adolescence. He's now great. He's high functioning. He has a fiance also on the spectrum, and he's just doing really well. He's living in a group home local. He's only a few minutes around the corner from us, so we still get to see him often, and it's just really amazing, the transformation.
Mm-hmm. So what made you actually want to start this sibling fund to help other people? What exactly, can you tell us about it? What does it do? What are your goals? And kind of give us a little bit of background about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the first component, there's multiple components that really triggered me to move forward and really pursue this. The first one was just, I was able to recognize coming up as a kid how important the respite services were for me. We didn't have any sort of sibling outreach programs, which is something that I'll discuss a little bit later. It's something that we're creating. But the respite services, I mean, it just served as a deep breath for the family. I mean, it allowed Samantha and I to have just a little bit of normalcy, a little bit of just a calm moment in the house, which is super rare. I mean, when Matthew was going through adolescence again, things were very tense. So that was one component, the fact that I had already recognized how helpful those services were. The second component that triggered me was just when I went to my first pro weekend. It was my debut at Barber Motorsports Park. When I got there and I saw the Indy cars and I saw the hundreds of thousands of fans, I knew that I had something special. And I knew that I had a platform and an opportunity to do something with this platform. And, you know, the first thing that made sense to me was, why not address something that's been such a huge part of my life coming up, and something that's gotten me to where I am. I mean, when I say that I can attribute my success to it, you know, driving a race car is very intense in itself, just the nature of it. And coming up with autism in the family, I mean, I've gone through so many intense, stressful situations with Matthew that translating that stress and stress management over to driving a race car just becomes all of a sudden super, super easy. And I personally think that I'm super driven and motivated, and I think that that also kind of ties into the fact that growing up with Matthew and the family, you had really no other option than to kind of keep your head down and keep moving forward. That was the only way to kind of survive it. So, you know, those two things together is what pushed me to first partner with the ASA. Scott Badesh, the CEO, I reached out to him. They're local to us as well, so it just totally made sense. And we began to move forward and host these children at the spectrum. And seeing what I was able to do and the smiles on the faces I was able to bring was just all worth it, and has since then pushed me to continue my involvement.
Well, we're grateful for the program that you've started, and I know that you're helping countless family members. I think the statistic is something like 3 million Americans currently living with autism today, which affects over 10,000 family members individually. And your program is really is helping to shed a light on that, on what it is like for siblings. So I would ask you this. What would be, if you had a single piece of advice that you could give a non-autistic sibling or the siblings out there, what would you say to them? What's the best piece of advice that you have based on your experience with Matt?
So I would say to them one thing, and I'd give them a piece of advice that's a different thing. So the piece of advice would be to just have patience, as difficult as it is. You know, having patience and being able to provide that patience to your older brother, sister, younger brother, sister, whoever's on the spectrum, just really, really kind of helps diffuse a lot of the situations that you're going to face as you go through this adolescence period, and even beyond that in some instances. And then what I would like to say to them is that it will all be okay. And it's very difficult to recognize that, you know, in the heat of the moment, but you have to learn to find the humor in things. I mean, sometimes just getting through the difficult times with Matthew, we just had to learn to laugh at some of the goofy stuff he did. I mean, Matthew's sense of humor is awesome, and there's no one else out there that has the same type of humor as him. And being able to recognize that, and as these tantrums are going on, and Matthew did something silly, and being able to laugh about it, it's just that really kind of helped me get through this whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, it looks like you've realized quite a bit of success, and you're setting a great example for many kids out there. In your program in the Sibling Fund, I'm curious to know what the Scholarship Fund is all about. It looks like you're raising money for not only scholarships but outreach programs as well. Can you tell us a little bit about both of those?
Yeah, so when we established this sibling support programs, which was kind of when I was first getting involved with racing, we set out with 3 goals, which was to provide respite services to those that could not afford it, to launch sibling scholarship programs, and then to create a national sibling committee, which will then have sibling outreach programs. So the respite services families out there right now that can't afford it or are not getting the support from the state. And I recognize that. So that's one of the main areas that I'm looking to address. The sibling scholarships kind of running hand in hand with that. The key theme, amongst this whole thing is that families are lacking the funds due to lack of state support, and so on and so forth, is that when a family does not have this support, they end up, on average spending an extra $68,000 a year supporting that child on the spectrum and all the services that they may have to pay for. That directly translates over to the siblings that are non-ASD, not being able to afford to go to college, educational purposes. If they're like me and not necessarily have a desire for college, but want to go out and just immerse themselves in the real world and start a business, which is something I'm working to do, they're lacking those funds. So we're establishing a national sibling scholarship program, which I'll talk about a little bit later on. This sibling program, we're going to be distributing $25,000, maybe a little bit more this year in scholarship funds, the grand prize being $10,000. And they're going to be used for sibling educational funds, and they're also going to be used for like business startup. So we're just trying to encompass siblings nationwide that are currently lacking support.
Okay.
And discussing the last part, the sibling outreach program, in this call to action of the video in this sibling scholarship program, we're going to begin to kind of gather people and unite them into a national sibling voice and create a national sibling committee, with some individuals also sitting on the National Autism Society board.
Okay, well, this sounds like an exciting program. I'm going to ask you to explain a little bit more about the contest and the videos that you're having people submit and how the winning videos are chosen or what you'd like to see in these videos. Because I think you're going to get a tremendous response from people, and people are going to be really excited about the opportunity to win money for scholarships and to show and showcase their relationships with their siblings. So tell us what you're looking for. Tell us about the contest. How do we enter? How do we win? And what do we submit?
Absolutely. So for all those out there that are going to be viewing, I think the very first step that they need to do is get in touch with their local Autism Society affiliates. There's 104 nationwide. They'll be able to help kind of point you in the right direction along the way and any questions that you may have. Another thing that they'll want to do is like the Autism Society's Facebook page. That is where these videos for this social media campaign will be posted most often. So those out there, what they'll see initially is there's going to be a video that'll be posted on the ASA's Facebook page, probably at some point today or tomorrow. It's an initial kind of preliminary video that's going to discuss that we are launching these sibling scholarship programs. There will then be follow-up videos that are going to come behind it with a call to action. What we're going to be looking for is the sibling and their sibling on the spectrum to be in a video. It's going to be a quick clip, and we just want them to discuss their one identifiable gift of autism. That's something that you'll see a video come from me. Just as an example, it'll be coming out in the next couple of weeks, discussing my one identifiable gift of autism, and then we're going to have a call to action in that video, which is going to discuss where they can submit back exactly kind of what we're looking for and the prizes that we'll have to win. And again, this is just the first of many years to come. I mean, we hope to grow this hugely. I'm working with local business committees in our city of Annapolis to bump these funds up and hopefully raise them incrementally every year.
I mean, it's a fantastic goal. When does the initial contest end so that people know how quickly they have to act?
So we're going to be asking for people to begin submitting videos in the following weeks, and we suspect that it will end kind of some point later in the year, maybe around August or somewhere around there, prior to school and the college semesters beginning. That way they can use this sibling scholarship fund immediately.
That's very well.
So all those details are still yet to come. I'm working it out with Scott Badesh right now, and we'll be sure to post it on all their social media and on their website so everyone can get involved.
Well, I heard a rumor that the grand prize for this go-around of the contest is $10,000 and that you were considering giving out 3 $5,000 scholarships and 5 $1,000 scholarships. Is there any truth to that?
There is, and
Okay.
we're hoping that we can get that number even higher.
Fantastic.
I'm currently trying to get a hold of Color Run right now, so if there's anyone involved with the Color Run that hears this, please reach out to me. I'm hoping that we can have some Color Runs nationwide that can help fundraise more scholarship funds for this year.
Well, Jason, it sounds like you are taking all kinds of steps to try to help siblings and to raise money for schooling and outreach and respite. And we can't thank you enough. The exposure should be tremendous for you. It sounds like you're growing the program and you're doing a really great job. And it's been a pleasure to talk to you about all of this. And we hope that the contest goes well, that you raise a ton of money, and that lots more comes your way. And I hope you do some really good things with it.
Absolutely, and I appreciate you having me on this call. For anyone that wants to stay in touch, you can find me on Facebook. It's Jason Cherry, and you can also reach out to me on my website, jasoncherryracing.com. I'll respond to anyone. I'll get in touch with anyone looking for any sort of advice or just simply wants somebody to talk to that's gone through it. Feel free to reach out.
Jason, we really appreciate having you. Again, you've heard it, guys. You can go to Facebook and like the videos that are submitted. You can go to jasoncherryracing.com. I've been on the website. It's a great website, great pictures, great information. And you can see some really interesting helmets of Jason's that he has auctioned off and will continue to auction off. It's quite interesting, and we hope that you realize much success, Jason. We've loved having you on the show. We hope to have you back again, and we wish you all the best of luck in the racing circuit.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
It's been a pleasure. Have a great day.
You too. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Our twins, Justin and Jessica, were premature babies, so we always were very conscientious of their development. But I think it was probably 15 months, Justin started getting really obsessive compulsive with opening and closing doors. And Justin started tantruming a lot too. These would be major tantrums that were just completely debilitating to the family.
Having to take them out of the house, put them in the car, drive around, just to calm them down.
I remember a breaking point and just thinking, you know what, we got to do something. This is not right. Once we were on the track to getting a diagnosis for autism, we started sharing that with our close friends and family. It just so happens that somebody from our older daughter's private school called us out of the blue. She introduced herself and she says, I know that recovery is possible. Those words so early in our journey were a guiding force for us. As we got more educated in knowing what is effective therapies for kids with autism, we realized quality ABA is vital to that progress. That's where we decided that CARD was the right provider for us and for our son. Justin responded very well to therapy. The behaviors were tracked, and we saw that what was being instituted was working.
Justin, what are you doing? I'm coloring. You are coloring! Good for you!
There was real progress, and it was progress that was tangible.
I just remember when he made a sentence. He said a sentence. We just happy about it, going, no way, I can't believe you just did that.
What's the date?
The 18th.
18th of what month?
December.
Oh, what year is it?
2007.
Oh, okay. So how old are you today then?
5.
The therapies that CARD did for Justin didn't just impact his daily living skills, but it was a positive impact on our entire family.
I'm Justin. I am in 4th grade. I like playing video games sometimes. My dream to build a teleporter machine. Like sometimes if like we're on an airplane and it's like really long, you guys just say, oh, hurry up with that teleporter machine, we're waiting on you. And I just started Friday Night Lights. This is our 3rd game of the season, and it's pretty fun. You have to be fast.
We attribute so much of Justin's recovery to CARD. Their goal was the same as our goal. We wanted Justin recovered. June 12, 2008 is a day that I celebrate every year because that is the day that Justin was deemed recovered from autism. And Dr. Doreen Graham-Pichet met with us, looked at him and just said, he's brilliant. You need to keep his mind stimulated because he's very smart and he has no residual traits of autism.
Hi, thanks for watching. We have some special guests with us from the Autism Society of America. Joining us today are Michael Lever, Director of Development for the Autism Society, and Rose Yoakum, Director of Internal Initiatives. They're here to talk about a new program called Autism Friendly, which affects lots of businesses and lets us know in the community which businesses are autism friendly and how businesses can benefit from that, and how we as families with people living with autism can also benefit. And so today I'd like to introduce you to Michael and Rose. Mike and Rose, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having us, Steph.
Pleasure. We would love to hear, what is the Autism Friendly program all about? What can you tell us?
So the Autism Friendly program is something that builds on work that we've been doing for many, many years. But the idea is, especially in April, which is National Autism Awareness Month, for us to identify businesses that are already autism friendly and sort of give them our seal of approval that they meet our criteria for being autism friendly, as well as identifying other businesses who wish to be autism friendly for the right reasons, and kind of help them through the process of becoming autism friendly, and taking the steps to meet what we think is the criteria for being, at least at a minimum, the minimum criteria for being autism friendly.
So can you tell us what that means? What's the, Rose or Michael, either one of you guys, what is the criteria for being autism friendly? What does that mean?
Well, and I wanted to say, so our NAM initiative, our National Autism Awareness Month initiative, we're calling it Building Autism Friendly Communities Step by Step. And what we will do, our affiliates are identifying businesses throughout the U.S., and then, of course, on our website, we will also be inviting businesses to come in and take the challenge to become autism friendly. The first thing that we think as a criteria for being autism friendly is that you offer autism friendly events. So that's like the number one thing to do, to connect to your community. Many businesses are already doing autism friendly things. I mean, the biggest one you may think of is AMC with their sensory friendly films, and that's something that the Autism Society began with them in 2007. And there's, many other examples of that. So that's that's the thing that we feel is real important, is to create those events. And during those events, what autism friendly is, typically when you think about it, is like AMC, it's looking at the sensory things that are going on at your business. So for instance,
lighting can be a big issue for people on the spectrum. So making accommodations to to the various elements that affect people with autism. So that's a little bit. I don't know if you want me to go through every single aspect of it, but that's
Sure.
like the criteria that you're looking at sound, that you're looking at light, odors. I mean, anything sensory can be a big issue for people on the spectrum.
So, Rose.
We also think. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Creating different, creating visual support for people. There's a lot of different things that businesses can do.
So like having an opportunity, individuals on the spectrum sometimes find it important that when they're in a space, sometimes they have moments of needing a chance to have a quiet place.
Mm-hmm.
So we encourage businesses to, especially entertainment or retail or restaurants, even retail, to have a room or a space where an individual on the spectrum can get away, and just kind of have a couple minutes of quiet and to deal with in their own way whatever they're going through.
Yeah.
They can deal with it on their own, and then they come back into the greater situation, whatever's going on.
Each venue would be different, of course, and like in theaters, again, with us, if you just think of AMC, people are allowed to get up and walk around, and and that's with theaters, if you're talking about making for an autism-friendly environment, that would be an element that people can walk. AMC keeps the lights up, again, so that you can walk without danger. Letting people enter and come in and out and re-enter the theater. So each establishment would have a little bit different criteria, but I think the thing that we'd like to see is that businesses are creating a night once a month to support the community, and more than anything, we want them to reach out to our affiliates throughout the U.S. and get to know families. Really, it's about building connections.
Let me ask you this. Let's say I'm a business owner locally and I don't know how to change my business to make it more autism friendly. Can I contact a local affiliate and say, hey, can you come out? Can you give a little assessment of my business or walk me through it and let me know what I can do and what changes I can implement to make it autism friendly?
Sure, but even before they get to the affiliate, we're going to have created what we're going to call a toolkit that's going to help the business do that. It's going to start with a checklist, and then some other resources that they're going to be able to use. We want the affiliates to be a resource for that, but at the same time, our affiliates have a lot going on, and they're going to be a resource.
And especially, we want the affiliate to be a resource, especially as a connection to the community.
Absolutely.
And to meet families. I think businesses, to become autism friendly, the first thing you should do is talk to some families, connect with some families, invite some families to your business.
And so let's say I'm a business.
Kind of walk around.
Rose, let's say I'm a business owner and there's this toolkit that you have that Michael mentioned. How do I access that toolkit so that I can, one, go through the checklist and try to become a more autism-friendly business? And then two, let's say I don't know any families living with autism. Is there a way for me to maybe host an event, or is there something what do I do as that small business owner, let's say, for example, who wants to reach out? Well, how do I do it?
Okay, so you can, within the toolkits will be ideas, checklists, resources, so materials for you to get a sense of what you need to do. How to reach out, how to find families, you can connect here. You can call our contact center. It's 1-800-3-AUTISM. And we have the database that earlier we were talking about. It's called autismsource.org. And within that database, we have 40,000 listings. We will, work to connect you with local families, either with our affiliates or in an area that doesn't have one of our affiliates. We still have resources. We have, ample resources to try to find people connection.
And what are the benefits to businesses when they do meet that criteria and they become autism friendly?
So I think there's really a couple of benefits. First of all, it's sort of the right thing to do, and businesses in general find that people in the community, when a business does the right thing, that they get an uptick in general business, and we've seen that across the board. AMC has seen it. Some other businesses that we work with. For example, Royal Caribbean, who we haven't talked about, they have an autism-friendly program, and I think they've seen an uptick because they've done, quote-unquote, the right thing. On the other side of it, there's a huge community and growing of individuals on the spectrum. And so that whole community is looking for places where they feel comfortable and feel welcomed. And so when a business does autism-friendly events, they have sort of a built-in audience of people looking for places to go where they're going to feel comfortable. So when a business creates these events, they're going to have a built-in audience or a built-in clientele that wants to go to these businesses and participate in these events. Now, we're focusing on 3 areas in this first year: retail, restaurants, and entertainment venues, because we think that they're important parts of activities of daily living, which are the things that activities of daily living are the things that people need to do every day to have a full and fulfilled life. Obviously, people can cook at home, yes, but every one of us wants to, at some point, get out of the house and eat. Yeah. So that's important. Every one of us, yes, we can shop online, but it's fun to go shopping, right?
Sure.
At least once in a while. So retail is important. Entertainment venues, yes, you can sit at home and watch television. You can rent Netflix. But at the same time, we want to sometimes go see a show. We want to go see a movie. That's important. So all these things affect our activities of daily living, and that's why we're focusing on these 3 areas this year.
And not only that, those 3 areas, especially theaters and restaurants, have really led the way. So we have good examples, good models to also support the businesses with by letting them see what other people are doing. There's great examples on Broadway. The Lion King has done an autism-friendly performance. Right now, in London, Wicked is preparing to do an autism-friendly event. I read yesterday in Disability Scoop that Tommy Hilfiger is going to come out with an adaptive clothing line. So that's good for retail. One of our affiliates in Colorado has worked with a pizza place called Bojo Pizza, and they do monthly events. So we know the events are out there, so that'll help because we want to build our list. And so we're also starting.
Rose, if you bring up a really great point. So if there are companies out there like Tommy Hilfiger and some of these different restaurants and some of the pizza places doing these activities that help to enhance daily, activities of daily living, how do they then let others in the community know, or other businesses know, both how they can become autism friendly and kind of what they're doing by way of example?
Yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. On our website, they will be able to register themselves. So we're going to our affiliate network to help us populate and find out where places are. But we hope to get the word out, widespread, to please come to the Autism Society's website and take the Autism Friendly Challenge. And, that's our desire, is to grow this and to just keep promoting, keep celebrating all the great businesses that are out there.
And so is it a correct statement that in the coming months, if folks individually and also businesses go to autismsource.org, that they would find that list of at least, like you said, 40,000 resources?
It's Autism Source. Well, no, that's nationwide listings. That's everything. That's support groups. That's pediatricians. That's
so it's not autism friendly specific.
Right. There will be a service type in Autism Source called Autism Friendly Businesses.
Perfect.
We haven't established that yet because we're still collecting them, but it'll be there. Where they will also go to our website to take the challenge. And as Michael said, on the website, we also want to promote them. In Autism Source is very data-driven, and it's black and white. But on the website, we will have their logos and links to their businesses and things like that. We're going to promote them on our website. Autism Source is a database, and that'll be a very helpful tool to find things quickly.
If you
and
bring
it'll
up
help our affiliates. It'll help our affiliates and our call center staff also to find local businesses for people to mentor from
Great.
etc.
So for
Yeah.
businesses out there and for individuals, if they wanted to call 1-800-3-AUTISM, they would get to the Autism Society and be able to ask questions about becoming more autism friendly or taking the challenge, correct? Okay. And
Absolutely.
and if they take this autism friendly challenge and they do meet the criteria as this program grows and evolves, would businesses maybe get something like a sticker or something neat to put in the window to let the community know? Because if I'm out shopping, I'm twice as likely to go into a place of business that is autism friendly and says it than I am to just go into any old place. I'd much rather support that business.
Exactly. You know that they have a compassionate,
Exactly.
Yeah. I'll let Michael talk about that. So we're just finalizing. We're working on that. Rose and I were working on that just before we started the call with you. We're finalizing a logo, which we will send along with a bunch of other materials that the businesses who pass the autism friendly challenge will be able to use to promote themselves. The idea is to have a cling, whatever you want to call it, to put in the window, some documentation that they can put inside their store, a logo that they can have on their website, a bunch of different ways to promote the fact that they are in fact an autism-friendly business, quantified or qualified by the Autism Society, which I think is an important thing. Back in the day, there used to be the good housekeeping seal of approval, if you would, and that's kind of what we want this to be as far as autism friendly. We want our logo or our stamp of approval to be the good housekeeping seal of approval for autism friendly.
Well, the Autism Society of America has 50 years of history, so to have that stamp and that seal of approval is like good housekeeping. I mean, it does translate, I think, and it would be exciting for businesses to be part of that.
I agree.
Yeah. Well, that's great. I mean, you've given some great information today. I'm hoping that business owners everywhere are tuning in to hear this, because I know that I will take part in that and try to become autism friendly. I will go to the website. I will take the Autism Friendly Challenge. I will encourage my friends and business owners to do the same. And we wish you the best of luck with the program. It's outstanding. And we're anxious to...
in April.
Launching in April. Okay, so you hear it, people. April of 2016, Autism Awareness Month. Our Autism Society of America is backing this new autism-friendly challenge for businesses across America, and there will be an online source, or you can call 1-800-3-AUTISM to get more information. Michael, Rose, we really appreciate your time today. Is there anything else that you'd like to mention to our viewers about this program before we go?
No, but thank you so much, Steph. We appreciate everything you do, and we look forward to talking with you again soon.
Thank you so much. Both of you. We will follow up with you and maybe feature this in the coming months. Thanks so much, and good luck to you both.
Take care. Bye.
Thanks.
What is autism? What is autism?
What is autism?
What is autism?
What is autism?
What is autism?
I've been asking myself that for a very, very long time.
Let me think about that one.
Trying to just
Jeez. Let me think. Oh man, that's a rough one. Yes.
Autism.
Autism is a neurological disorder that affects many of our kids in different ways.
It's a learning disability that affects the cognitive functions of the brain.
A lot of people have the misconception that it's a disability, and it's really not.
I look at it as like a special gift.
When one person thinks differently from another.
It's an opportunity for everyone to learn to understand someone that's a little different than them.
Autism is the ability to educate.
They're given so much talent in different areas.
To me, autism means a chance to be with and be around people you really care about. Autism is beautiful.
It's a way of seeing the world differently.
It's always unique, totally intelligent, and sometimes mysterious.
Happiness that comes out of my son's hard work.
Is a movement.
Unpredictable.
That's right.
Awesome. Love. The field I want to work in.
Laughter, fun, joy. Autism is beautiful to me.
I want you to remember these 3 words. There is hope.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We've been really blessed to have our guests on the show. Jason Cherry from Jason Cherry Racing took time to let us know about the upcoming sibling fund. It's a sibling scholarship fund. As you know, he's going to be giving away, at least for this year, a $10,000 grand prize, 3 $5,000 grand prizes, and 5 $1,000 prizes for scholarships for non-autistic siblings in various families. To submit a video, you can go to jasoncherryracing.com. And if you'd like to learn more about the autism-friendly program that the Autism Society of America is starting for businesses everywhere, you can go to their general website and you can click on Autism-Friendly Checklist, which should be up any day now, or you can call 1-800-3-AUTISM and speak with any of the lovely people at the Autism Society who'd be happy to help you out. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the next episode of The Future is Bright.